live. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Appelboom Bites Podcast. Today is episode number 89 already, and we have a very, very special episode. We have a guest on our show who is of a new brand for us, a completely new brand, so that's very interesting for us. Actually, we know this gentleman for quite a while already, but at the beginning of 2025, we started working together, and I'm super excited for that. But first, let me introduce our co-host for today, because it is the one and only Clare Coco. Hello, Clare. How are
Hello.
you?
Good. How are you?
Yes, I'm good. Wonderful. Thank you for asking. Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
busy weekend, but here we are. So I'm not sure how it is in the US, but in the Netherlands, the Monday is part of the weekend here. So
That's
yeah,
kind of nice.
yeah, it was a really
No,
long weekend for me.
Monday's a work day here for most people. When you work from we work from here, our business is up north in Massachusetts, so we can work from here, which is wonderful. So it's a work
No,
day
so
for us.
so so it's not every weekend. It's for Pentecost. So because of Pentecost, the Monday
Oh,
is
okay. Yeah.
we added as well. No, that would be
Yeah.
wonderful if we would have like Mondays off as well. That would be a really long weekend. I would love that.
Oh, okay.
Um, but great to have you here, Claire. We have a very special guest here
I
on the
know.
show. So let me introduce him because it is the one and only David Oscarson. Welcome on the show, David. How are you?
Thank you, Joost. Thank you, Claire. It is a pleasure and an honor to be here. I think it's, as we say, it's been a long time coming. I know
Mm-hmm.
a lot of your fans are multilingual. So for those in the US, hello, you'll understand me. For those who are in another country, I will try to speak slowly and clearly to explain some things today. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be in front of you. We have been fans of Joost and Appelboom for many, many years. And as Joost said, we have finally come together. And so I think this is a great way to introduce. If we were together, I would have a table, but I'm surrounded by a lot of things today, and we've got a lot to go through. So thank you in advance for your patience. Great to
We
be here.
will cover everything, David. So no worries about that. Good morning, Suzette Perez. Good morning to you. So happy that you're here. If you have any questions for us, please ask them in the chat, and David, Claire, or I will try to answer them. So if you have any questions, please don't be afraid to ask them to us. All right, because we have a lot to discuss today, or actually, David has a lot to tell us. Let's start with a pen check. Claire, would you like to start with?
The pen check.
Yours.
Let's see which one. Okay, so the very first pen that I actually got from David was the Lord Ganesh, and it's just a beautiful. I love this pen. It has a lot of meaning for me. My husband took me over to visit David at the DC Pen Show last year, and he said, "Pick out any pen you want."
Dangerous.
Very dangerous, but
It's very dangerous.
he actually knew which pen I was going to choose, and I chose the Lord Ganesh. And it is. I'm just trying to. There you go. I get it in there, and it is just absolutely lovely. It holds a lot of meaning for us. My daughter had a pendant that she never took off, and this pen just brings back those happy times and happy memories with her. So this was the pen that I chose. And yes, people always want to know, do you write with your Oscarson pens? And I absolutely do, because even though they're wonderful, beautiful art pieces, they are amazing writers. So yes, and look at the detail work and that and David's going to go in all about how they're made. So I'm very excited. And the other thing I do wear of David's, I can't wear it. I was going to wear them today, but I cannot get a French cuff shirt on with this thing. I love wearing cufflinks. So I have a pair of the cufflinks, and which goes with another pen that we have of his, the Celestial. So you have the sun and the moon on the other side. So there you go.
That's so nice. It's
I love it.
wonderful.
I love it. So
Do
it's
you, do
really,
you have the pen over there that goes with the cufflinks to show?
yeah, this one here. This one here, the
Oh,
Celestial one.
special edition of 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's so funny because a lot of the pens that I noticed that we we have a few that just are 8 of,
Mhm.
the I thought was kind of neat too. It's like, it's like a theme. We have like something of 8, 8 of whatever the line goes. So what do you have? What do you have for pens? But this is another beautiful one. So yes,
It's beautiful,
I
especially
love
with the
it.
cufflinks. It's a really nice match.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really nice.
So I love it.
All right, thank you. Thank you for sharing, Claire.
you're
Let's see a lot of people we have in the chat. First of all, Peter, of course. Good morning, Joost, David, and Claire. Good morning, Peter. We have Lenny here as well. Good morning, everyone. And we have Eric Garcia waving to us. So that's wonderful. Suzette is saying so lovely. Most likely about the pens, I expect. And Lenny is saying 2 of my favorite people. So Lenny, I'm really curious. Do you mean David and I? Do you mean Claire and David, or which 2 people? Which very important question, David.
I can answer that question. I have in my hand. I have in my hand a number 7. This is the pen that Lenny is waiting for right now. I'll tell you about it in a minute.
So I hope that Lenny is saying it's David and Claire. Otherwise, Lenny,
He's
you have a
waiting for
problem.
number
If you're
8.
saying Joost and Claire, you
It's
have a
coming.
problem.
It's coming, Lenny. Yeah, your number 8 is coming. It's in the enameling process right now.
Wonderful. All right, David, could you share your pen check with us, please?
What's on my desk
What
today?
fountain pen you carry with you today?
I have a few pieces on our homepage. If you go there, you'll see a box opening and there's a pen I'm signing with. This is one that I keep at my desktop at all times. This is an example of our 15th anniversary. It's an American Art Deco. And while it's in the traditional style of sterling silver, guilloche work, and hot enamel, and we'll get into all of that soon, all of these panels in the pen design incorporate a guilloche pattern from one of the previous designs in the previous 15 years. So it's kind of a retrospective. And I just love this piece. This is on my desk today. It has a little flare on it, of course. Medium point, teal ink inside. And this is kind of my go-to. Also, I have one of our...
So this on this pen, on that pen, you have like 15 years of work.
Yeah, well, it's represented. For instance, you have the Pierrot and Pierrette, the Crystal, the Lewis and Clark. And so there's a little diagram. If you go the website or look at the article, it'll tell you which pattern belongs to which pen. And we thought that was fun for a retrospective. So I just love the deco motif, and it came in several different colors. But this one reminded me of my grandmother's Oriental room with all the black and the jade and the and so this is one of my all-time favorites. So I keep this on my desk.
I love that pen. That pen's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I love
this
the color
piece
and everything. It's just beautiful.
So that's a fun one. I also keep next to me as a reminder our first piece ever. This is the baby blue. This is a Henrik Wigström. He was a workmaster for Fabergé, and this is a tribute to him in one of his imperial eggs. Just beautiful here. I keep that side by side as a reminder. It's been 25, we're going on 26 years now, so we've got a lot to talk about and a lot to cover, but I like to remember the beginnings as well.
Yeah, of course. That's where it all started, right?
That's where it all started. And then our most recent, of course, is the Spirit of St. Louis. And we want to talk about that too. We've done some special techniques on the cap there that we can talk about too. So I have a lot of pens around me.
We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about those later. But first we need to do another few things. Because we have to. The first thing is my pen check. Sometimes I forget it, but not this time because I have it prepared here with me. I have this one. I don't have a David Oscarson to kind of give another perspective on the show here as well, because I have here Namiki Yukari with a shooting star. I don't know if the camera doesn't really pick it up. Here it is, I think. There it is.
Oh, I like that one. That's nice.
Yes, very, very nice. I think that Namiki did an amazing job on this pen. It's a Yukari model, so it's a little, it's not an Emperor, it's smaller in size, but still wonderful, as you can see here. And we have it in the store. And if you are interested in this, you can purchase it right now, and we can ship it the same day. So, yeah. Had to share that, of course. All right, then, David, I have a question for you from our previous guest.
Oh yes,
and the question was from Darla, She's the president of the Netherlands Pen Club, and she was at the Dutch Pen Show. So last week we had this whole recap of the Dutch Pen Show. We talked about it, and her question for you was, what is your favorite nib size, and what is your favorite specialty nib?
Oh, well, we go to a lot of pen shows and we do a lot of in-store events. So I know a lot of nib grinders.
I know.
And I have seen a trend over the years. Lately, about 20 years ago, a broad point or a calligraphic nib was everything. Everyone wanted their signature to be big and bold, but I think our people are writing a little bit more now, and the trend has gone to a finer point. My personal pick is our 18 karat medium point that is ground to an architectural grind. So you get a little different width going up vertically and horizontally. And I love the way that turns out the way I write. It gives it just enough character without being overdone like calligraphy. So for me, that's my, and no, I do not use a roller ball. I know we offer everything we create is available as a roller ball. And sometimes people will select a roller ball, but we tell them that at any point in time, if they want to change out the gripping section and upgrade to a fountain pen, we do that for them. And from time to time, people will say, "I think I'm ready." So no, you won't find a roller ball on my desk.
How many rollerballs do you sell in comparison with the fountain pens?
It used to be, well, that's interesting. In a fountain pen store, it is almost exclusively a fountain pen, of course. And then somebody wants a customized nib, and we understand that. Because of the nature of our product and our collection, it is considered more jewelry. And so we're represented in jewelry and watch stores around the world. And I would say that is about 50-50. It used to be skewed a little bit more towards roller balls in a jewelry store because it's just convenient. But people are understanding a little bit more now as they get into the collection that, wow, it's actually very easy to use a fountain pen and lovely. About half and half. And that's why we offer, if someone wants to convert from a fountain pen to a roller ball, that's very easily done. We just take the 18 karat nib and it goes inside. So about half and half in a jewelry store. I would say 95% or greater in a pen store for our collection. Absolutely.
Well, we went out last night for dinner and so Peter took the fountain pen out of this so he could sign the check.
The gripping section, he took it out.
Yes, so he could sign the check with the rollerball because you can't sign the bill with the fountain pen because it just doesn't work on those favors. So this is what his pen choice was last night when we went out for our anniversary dinner. So so this is the Harlequin. That's what he took.
Well, Joost, and to everyone listening, what Claire is trying to say is something we don't really like to advertise. Okay. And that means that what Claire and Peter had done is they had us produce for them an additional gripping section that you see right here. So for the Harlequin pen, Peter has one that has a fountain pen with an 18 karat nib inside. It's all sealed in. He has an additional piece that is fitted with the sterling silver cone soldered in that he can use as a rollerball, and it's interchangeable, convertible back and forth. We don't like to advertise that because it's a headache to make these pieces in the workshop, but we do that. So now
for special
this was like this was an older pen, so it worked. So yeah.
Because each gripping section is unique to the pen. So it has to match. So we can do that. It just takes us a couple months to get that part in. So that's a good point.
You're better off ordering, if you want a rollerball, you're better off ordering a rollerball. It's a lot easier than having to wait a lot in time because some people have no patience.
that fits the profile, Claire. Yeah, the lack of patience fits our profile for sure.
Yeah. Eric wants to know, are your pens handmade?
I'm going to answer that two ways. Yes, technically, yes. There is some machining that is done with CNC and engraving, but a lot of it is still done with the old Rose engine, and this is a machine that's actually operated by hand. So you've got, if you're old enough to remember, there was an old American game called Spirograph.
Yes.
And it was a circle within a circle, and you would spin it around with your pen and it would create this beautiful pattern. So what we do is we create a maze where the diamond goes through, and as you twist the dial on the side, the diamond climbs up and actually engraves a pattern into the metal. And then you move another knob, chink, it turns, and then you cut it going back down the other side. This is old school. This is Italy, 1600s. Very popular on watch dials. It's called guilloche. Maybe this is a good time to get into some of these details. It's a guilloche engraving, which means it's diamond cut. And that just means that it's not a casting, it's not poured into a mold or a casting, and it's not stamped. It is actually diamond cut. And the reason we do that is we want the refraction of light. And so we engrave the sterling silver that way. And then the hand portion, very good question. Yes, all of the colors that you see on our collection are made from what we call hot enamel. And this is kind of what sets us apart in the industry. And there's a craftsmanship page on our website you might want to visit. It'll show some videos of the crushing of glass and metal oxides, metal powder gets added. And then we take a quill and we actually apply that glass and metal mixture onto the surface area of the pen. And it's kind of like a putty. It's a little moist. We take the piece of the pen, the cap or the barrel, on a wire, and we put it into the kiln, where the glass is melted to the silver. We take it out, let it cool, and it's a little bit wobbly. So then we take a diamond file and we grind it down and make it smooth. That's one layer. There's usually 3 or 4 layers of enamel or glass per color. And so for a pen that has multiple colors on it, like our 25th anniversary, the Art Nouveau, it's a tribute to René Lalique and Alphonse Mucha, 10 different colors of glass, 3 firings per color. The cap and the barrel have both been in the kiln 30 different times.
That's a lot.
And so it is so much. And so this is what's unique. When the silver cools, sometimes the silver cools faster than the glass, and it will shatter the glass. And so 1 out of 5, we have a 20% failure rate. And this is all done by hand. This is just like you would think, all by hand, diamond file, re-enameling, refiling. And on the last filing, it's finished. There is no coating over the top. There's no gloss or epoxy or anything that goes over the top. It is just glass on the silver. But 1 out of 5 will fail because the silver cools faster than the glass. So yes, it is a tedious process. And
what do you do with all the failures?
Well, there is an acid that is strong enough to eat away the glass on the silver one time. We can put it in an acid and it eats away the glass from the silver one time. If we try a second time, it actually eats through the silver and disintegrates the entire piece. It's super strong. This is like really dangerous stuff. But we actually start over. We have to cut a new barrel or a new crown or a new cap, and we'll cut it and remake it. And so that's on our warranty. You know, we tell people to be really careful, but you can't take this into a local store and say, can you re-enamel my pen? No one does this. Craft doesn't exist here. So we don't charge for repairs. That's my lifetime. But we just ask people to be very, very careful. And we get about 10 or 12 pieces each year that will come back. People will say, I'm so sorry, I had an accident. And it takes several months. It takes maybe 6 months to get the piece back from the workshop. But a lot of times we'll have to recreate the entire portion and match it with the glass. I'm sorry, that was a long answer to a short question. So yes,
I love this answer. It's really important.
Mostly by hand. There is some machine engraving, some with the old style, the Rose engine engraving, but all of the enameling And the kiln firing, that is 100% all by hand. Yes, you cannot imitate that. And here's, while we're talking about enamel, a great way to determine if something is a real enamel, which means melted glass, or if it is another process called a soft enamel, or what they call a cold enamel, which is a resin or an epoxy that gets applied or sprayed to the surface. When you pick it up, it's going to feel cool to the touch, just like a window would, a piece of glass, a glass top, because it is
Mhm.
glass. If it feels softer or warmer and a little stickier, then you know it's another process, some kind of resin or an epoxy or a spray, which we don't use. This is all real enamel. And if you drop this on a marble floor, you'll learn very quickly that it is glass. It'll break your
So don't
heart.
do that. Don't do that.
Don't drop it.
Um,
But we want people to use them. That's why we tell people we want you to use the pens. And Claire was saying she uses her pen. I think most of the people who acquire our pieces in a fountain pen store, they are using it to write and enjoying it. People from a jewelry store, if it's a roller ball, I know they're using it. If it's a fountain
mhm.
pen, they might be afraid to use it, and they'll just put it on a shelf, for posterity, because this is silver and glass. It's going to last for hundreds of years, and they're saving it for their posterity, a grandchild or someone else. It's going to be around for centuries. There aren't any plastic threading inside. It's all sterling silver. Oh, that's another point. Someone's going to ask, can you post the cap on the back? The answer is no. I mean, you can, but two things happen. Number one, this is so heavy, it's going to fall out the back of your hand the minute you try to use it. Also, the sterling silver threads inside have a tendency to scratch the glass on the barrel, so you do not want to post this cap. It's got really nice balance because the gripping section is also solid sterling silver. And so the weight is actually down on the page, right, Claire? I mean, it's very
Yeah.
comfortable to write with. It's not really imbalanced. You've got the weight down on the front, and so no posting.
It glides. It really does glide on the paper. Is it true?
Lenny is saying he's using his as well all the time. So
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
he
excellent.
does.
that's good.
Is
That's
it
good.
true
That's good.
that some of the colors have to be kilned at different
Oh.
times, or like first, because they need more time in the kiln?
Great question. That is a great question, and I'm so glad you asked. So we have a couple of pieces here that I would call kind of show-off pieces, because they have 5 or 6 colors of hot enamel or glass on one surface. And so yes, when we make the glass red, we use powdered copper, metal oxides that are copper, and that turns it red. But it's very fragile. It is temperamental. And also, it cannot tolerate temperatures over 830 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. And so when we make a pen with red, if it's all red, that's fine. But if it's other colors, we have to make sure that we fire the red enamel last. Some of our blue colors, they have to go over 1,000 degrees. The blue enamels tend to be a little bit cloudy and murky. It's hard to see through until we take the temperature up over 1,000 degrees, and then it turns completely translucent and you see straight through. So we have to fire the blue first. That's always the hottest. And then the green, and then the white, and then the yellow, and then the red is last, because if it goes over 830 degrees, the copper will burn and it will turn the red sections brown, and it's ruined. So for a piece like this, when we say that each color requires 3 or 4 different layers of glass. So for all of the blue sections, we crush the enamel, we put it into the section where all the blue sections are. We put it in the kiln, melt it, bring it out, let it cool, and file it down with a diamond file. That's one layer. 3 or 4 layers just for blue. Then we have 3 or 4 layers just for green. 3 or 4 layers just for yellow, 3 or 4 layers just for white, and then 3 or 4 firings just for red. This cap and this barrel have been in the kiln over 20 different times each. So if that gives you an idea how complicated these things are, and in each cooling, you've got a chance that the silver will cool faster than the glass and shatter the glass out, and you have to start all over again.
Yeah. You don't
So
want that.
why do this? Because in the end, you have is such a fabulous piece that's going to last for hundreds of years. We just, this is something that's multi-generational, and that's why we write on our literature from generation to generation. These will be around much longer than we will, and we want to see these passed down from generation to generation. That's a great point, Claire. So the more colors on one surface, the more difficult it is because of the temperature tolerances and the chance for failure, for shattering of the glass.
In your workshop, like for example, Claire and I, we want to work at your workshop tomorrow. Can we start right away, or do we have to have like some kind of experience level first before we can start?
7 years. 7-year apprenticeship. And
Right.
Truthfully, guys, I would love to be over there with the guys. I would love to be at the bench, at the wheel polishing. I would love to be grinding. I cannot be there as often as I would like. And so I have to take my hat off to our guys. We love them. They're our family. They're wonderful craftsmen, and they know our collection inside and out. Is 26 years now, and we have 42 different designs. They know exactly what to do. But I would love to be a craftsman and be there creating more. But generally, I am here in the US and I'm traveling around to stores and shows and doing things like this. And so I can't do it all, but I want to recognize that craft. It doesn't exist here in the US and is really something. It's old world. It's very popular.
Peter is asking where it is done.
It's in England, down south of London. And so you'll see on each piece, you'll see a British hallmark next to the serial number on our pieces. You'll also see 0.925 and the lion for London and a British hallmark on and our mark from the hall. Here's a piece of trivia for everybody. A hallmark. A hallmark is exactly that. It is there's a building in London that is rectangularly shaped, okay? And we bring our silver pieces into the front door of this building, and they get tested for purity and lasered or stamped with the 0.925. And when they reach the end of the hallway, that's where everything gets picked up with its mark from going through the hallway where it's tested for purity and gets it stamped for sterling silver. Thought you might appreciate that. That's what a hallmark is.
That's
it's
why
a
it's called a hallmark.
From the hall.
Yeah,
right?
that's really interesting and very, very, very cool.
That's kind of cool.
I didn't know
It's
that.
very cool.
Eric has a really good question, a very interesting one as well. Eric is wondering, like, would you consider make a more accessible fountain pen in order to provide your art to wider people? High-end writing instruments companies have different price points, like Montblanc, Sailor, Namiki, etc.
The answer to that question is yes. And I wish I had one here. We made, they're not on the website anymore. We made a twist ballpoint. It was a Parker style.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't have a cap or a barrel. It was just a straight body. I'm wondering if I have a picture of one of those around. Shoot. And I thought, oh no, we're going to lose it had a $2,900 retail still, though, because it was still silver and hot enamel. And I thought, we're going to lose out on our fountain pen and rollerball sales because everyone's going to say, well, I'll just take that one instead. Well, the interesting thing was that the reverse actually happened, that people would look at the ballpoint. Let me see if I can find one. I can show you on my screen here quickly. People would look at the ballpoint and they would say, yes, it's half the cost. However, the fountain pen is so much more beautiful and so much more pen that I'm going to go ahead and do the fountain pen instead. Here you go. I can show you what it looked like. If I can just turn this around, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Bring it down. Oh, I can see it. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Go
and
back.
So,
go,
yes.
move it. Yeah, right there.
Okay.
Yep.
That's what it looks like. And so it was an experiment. And so the only alternative to that, Eric, I'll answer it this way, is yes, we could come out with a pen that was probably maybe just metal here, or maybe resin, and then do a little bit of enamel maybe somewhere on there. I just, for two reasons, we have not. It just doesn't justify the look that we are known for. And also, I do not have a sales force. You'll see me at all the pen shows. If there's an event at Appelboom in the Netherlands, I will be there doing it. And there's not enough of me to go into all of the stores who would then want to pick up the entry level price point. And I just have not had the time or the energy or the desire to do that. So my apologies. I know it is a difficult price point. These pieces retail, it's almost 7,000 US dollars. It's because of all the work that goes into these pieces. I wish I could do a more reasonably priced. It's kind of like a Patek Philippe. It's kind of a yes or a no. There's not really an entry level like, some of the cars. You have a C class, an E class, and so maybe for a next generation, that's something for a next generation to tackle. But for now, we release a couple of designs each year, and we have a very small, tight knit community. A lot like Claire. I mean, we become friends. Most of our collectors, we will meet eventually on the telephone or FaceTime or at a show. And so we actually know most of our customers. Over the years, it's been very rewarding. So apologies. I will apologize for that we have not been able to create a more affordable line. I just, I also didn't want to have to apologize, for a more affordable line. Well, I'm sorry, it's plastic and it's got a steel nib and do you can have it if you,
And
I
I'm
just,
also wondering if it would have been a good idea to make the combination between resin and the enabling, because, well, as you mentioned earlier, like you really have to feel to experience the difference. And if you have them both on one pen, people might get confused, like, hey, what is made with enameling and what is made with resin? What is,
right.
to see that difference.
I agree with you, Joost. And so I apologize for not spending more time and energy on that project. But I just didn't want to have to apologize for anything and have something that looked, as we say, lackluster or inferior to the pieces that we've been doing for the last quarter century. So
Mhm.
apologies. Maybe someday, yes, we will get a little more energy and excitement and enthusiasm and create a more affordable line to spread out over more distribution around the world. But for now, we've remained a very small line. Special.
Eric is saying, thanks, David, for the response. No apologies needed. I love the Patek example. You not always have to target all users. And I think that's completely right.
Thank
David,
you.
I'm wondering, by the way, because all the pens have the same price, around the $7,000
Yes.
price tag, but some pens have more time that they have to go into the, and
Yes.
others don't. How come they all have the same price?
Well, it's just for ease and convenience. We also don't. We have not yet distinguished a price point difference between something that is finished in just silver and something that is overlaid in gold vermeil, which has gold over the silver. It's much more expensive to create. We just take an average and we keep the average going. Something like the Celestial or maybe one of the winter pieces probably would be a little bit more affordable. We just spread it out because a lot of these pieces, I'm going to talk about the Spirit of St. Louis now, if we can, for just a moment. What we had to do
Of
to
course.
get this piece made, there are two videos on our website that you may want to watch because I'm going to go through this very quickly. Spirit of St. Louis, my hometown, of course, St. Louis. We have the Spirit of St. Louis right here. I was born here, grew up in Stockholm, but this is our home. And so we have here hot enamel over the guilloche work, the flight from New York to Paris, Charles Lindbergh in his famous aircraft, the NX-211. But I want to talk about these little flags. These flags are from South and Central America, mostly where he flew the plane before he donated the plane to the Smithsonian Museum.
Mhm.
Yeah, back
Normally
up just a little. Yeah.
on our pieces, and Claire, we were just talking about the Harlequin. there is a line of silver between each color. Okay. And we talked about how we need to separate the colors from each other because they fire at different temperatures. So we have to separate them with a line of silver. Now, lately, we have gotten really creative where we can blend colors. Like on this Deus Regit, this is one of my top 3 right here. We may talk about that later. We have blending of white and yellow and gray and black. And we have to make sure that those metal oxides can be fired within tolerances of each other so that they can fire together.
Mhm.
On the Spirit of St. Louis, on the cowling, the front nose cone of the airplane, all of these flags, someone had taken a paintbrush and painted flags for all the countries that the plane had visited. And so they needed to be so tiny on the cap that we thought there is no way we can get a line of silver between the colors, right? Look how tiny that is.
Mhm.
And so what we ended up doing, guys, and try to stay with me here. I'm going to try to find an opaque white enamel. An opaque enamel is a color that it's not translucent. So you see how you see the engraving through the gray here, but on the black and
Yeah.
white, it's just solid black and white. It's opaque, so you don't see through it. We took an opaque white enamel and we inlaid the crushed enamel into the rectangular areas where the flags were to go. And then with a needle and a razor, we inlaid on top the metal oxides that were to
Oh,
stain the
wow.
glass. Okay. We had to position them in there and put them on the paste of the crushed glass and then fire them in a kiln. And we didn't know what would happen. We hoped that the metal oxides would stain the opaque white enamel deeply enough that when we ground it off with a diamond file to make it smooth, it didn't take the color off. 2 things happened. Number 1, the metal oxides did penetrate the white enamel deeply enough to color the glass. Number 2, when we filed the glass with a diamond file, it kind of blended the colors just a hair, ever so slightly. But the genius was that because that happened, these flags actually are an exact replica of the flags that were painted on by hand with a little paintbrush way back when the flights were made, and it is an exact match. So I told the guys, just do it. Don't change anything. It's perfect. So we really got lucky on this. It's a new technique for us. Normally we have a line of silver in between the colors of enamel because
Very
the
precise
temperature
work.
tells it. So this Spirit of St. Louis is very special for that reason. Also, it's our hometown, and it's been done before, but we had to do the Spirit of St. Louis. It's our hometown. We've lived here generations, and
Mhm.
so just very special on the enamel on this one. On the website, guys, everything I just told you, there's a separate video on the Spirit of St. Louis just about these flags. If you're interested, you can take a look. It's very interesting how we were able to do that. So we're really excited about that. We try to keep raising the bar each time, more and more difficult and more interesting.
Mhm.
If you go back to the Henrik Wigström or the winter pieces, very simple, very beautiful, very Fabergé. The process that we use is identical to what Fabergé did on those pieces from St. Petersburg. And so that hasn't changed. But our techniques and our level of difficulty has increased over the past quarter century. So we're really proud of this one. This is our latest.
Does it happen often, David, that you have an idea and that you go to the workshop and say, "Hey guys, I have this amazing idea. I want to do this and that and whatsoever," and that they will tell you, like, "David, I don't know what you ate this morning, but I think you're crazy. We're not able to do that."
This was one of those. I said, we've got to do the flags. And the guys said, we can't do it and we won't do it. And I said, oh, you're
Yeah.
going to do it. And so it took months and months and months. This was probably 4 or 5 months late because of that, because of the flags and just getting the process nailed down. Once we understand what to do, we can repeat it. But the innovative
Mhm.
stuff, and on the Deus Regit here, I don't know. this is one of my all-time. Claire, you've got your celestial there with the sun, moon, and stars. That's kind of a night and day. If you don't mind, Yost, I'm going to talk about this one for just a little bit. This one's very special to me. The
Of
celestial
course.
was
If you have 1 second, David, if you have 1 second, because Eric has
sure.
an amazing idea, because he's
Okay.
saying, "Oh God, I'm so amazed on the combination on techniques and materials with all of your knowledge now. What is the next challenge to have in a pen? A space team pen with actual meteorite stone inside?"
A space pen. We have a space pen. This is the one. This is the one Lenny's waiting for. This is our tribute to a fellow statesman from Missouri, Marshfield, Missouri, Edwin Hubble. This
Mhm.
is a really cool piece right here. No, but we haven't used any meteorite or any. I think there wasn't it Grayson Ty years ago who did a meteorite pen, and we haven't really strayed from our hot enamel. That's kind of what we're known for, and so we try to keep it.
Mhm.
We may put some diamonds or some stones and onyx here and there, but we have kept it so far. That's not to say that we won't do that in the future. We definitely will consider that. So thank you. Deus Regit here. It's a blending of enamels on the cap, and you've got little angels. You see the angel with the trump here
Yeah.
underneath the enamel. That's what we call a low relief engraving. So when you see
Mhm.
something that is cut in shadows underneath the glass, that is low relief. Now, high relief, do you see the outlines of the silver with gold vermeil in between the colors?
Yeah.
There's a technique in jewelry making called cloisonné. And a lot of people say, oh, is that a cloisonné? And that means that you would take a little wire of metal and you would solder it to the surface of this metal and then fill in the background with another substance like enamel. That's not what we do. Every time that our diamond reaches where one of these outlines of clouds needs to be, we have to stop the engraving, lift up the diamond, move it over, and drop it back down and continue cutting. The reason for that is we want to have a 90-degree angle where the glass meets the silver. So it's not wobbly or sloppy underneath. You will not see any lines that are gradating down from the surface to the bottom. It is a straight 90-degree angle down to the bottom of the engraving. And it's kind of a reverse engine turning where we actually stop the diamond, lift it up, move it over, and drop it back down. This is all in high relief. So very, very tricky to do. On the Deus Regit, this is God ruling over the adversary. So you had the celestial pen. By the way, guys, this is the last celestial pen of the 5 colors of 88. This golden yellow, it's the last one. It's a sold out edition now. The Deus Regit is taking its place. The celestial was light and darkness. The Deus Regit is more light over darkness. You've got God ruling in the heavens and his power and
Mhm.
influence coming down here into the underworld where the flames are ascending up. The adversary here is with his ruby eyes representing his power. But in the hilt of God's scepter, there's a diamond because God always has his foot on the neck of the adversary. Down here at the bottom, sorry, guys. The phone's ringing. At the bottom, you have an opaque black enamel, which represents the absence of all light or outer darkness. That's the adversary's final destination. And on the gripping section is a sunburst and bars. This represents a spiritual paradise and a prison where souls wait for resurrection. This is a long video on the website, very special to me, very meaningful. And this is another one of my top 3. That's 2 out of 3.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. I see Peter also made a comment. David, your uncompromising dedication to quality has built your brand's reputation. The exclusiveness is an integral part of the ownership experience.
Thank you.
I think that's wonderful, said Peter. David, I wanted to ask you that. How did this all started? How did you start with making these beautiful pens?
Well, I had when I was young, I grew up in the working in the diamond industry. I was going to marry into the diamond business, and I didn't know it at the time, but that did not happen, which is fine. Wonderful, wonderful family. I was in retail for quite a while. Was a buyer for a department store chain over here in the U.S. and realized that I was not going to spend a lifetime there like my father and grandfather had, because careers were getting shortened. And so I took a job with a pen company, and was there for a few years. And then one day I had this revelation. I had the three very dangerous words, guys. I'm a genius. Be careful. Be careful. I was young and dumb, and I don't think I would have the courage today to start an enterprise like this. I thought, I'm going to create something really special. It was right before 9/11. 9/11 happened, and we about lost everything because no one was buying. Stores were full of inventory. This is beautiful, but nobody's buying anything. And so over the years,
What pen business
it's
did you
a
work for?
Renaissance. It's called Renaissance Pen Company back then.
Okay.
And so over the years, we had our Henrik Vigstrom, we had a Winter, we had a Crystal, we had a Harvest, which I have here somewhere, really pretty. And we started to get a little recognition and a little bit of a following. And now, as my father would have said, he said, time will someday be your friend. So we tried to just establish something really, really wonderful over the years. And now we have some cufflinks. I don't know if people have seen. We make some cufflinks that match some of the pens in the collection. Claire showed you a pair earlier. And we have also a range of folding knives. And I don't know how much time we want to spend on this, but this is really, really special, guys. This is a solid piece here and here of sterling silver, guilloche engraved on both sides, inside and out, and all hand screwed, bolted. The pivot bolt, everything is all created by hand in our workshop. The stainless steel Damascus on the blade is from Sweden, but really, really special folding. I think we have 4 or 5 designs out right now. So we're slowly graduating and making more and more pieces, but it just takes time, guys. I mean, it really takes time to create each individual one. And we enjoy mostly the creative process. That was my favorite part, is the creative process, from an idea to a prototype, and then it's an actual thing. It's not an idea anymore. It's an actual thing that exists. And then the collectors, our store owners and our collectors like Claire and Peter, we have so many wonderful friends all around the world that we really love, and we've got to know over. It's like family. And at this point, this is a celebratory business we're in, right? And so it's usually happy moments or memories or things that we're celebrating with people. And so it's been a wonderful ride the last quarter century. We're looking forward to another 25, and we're just grateful to all of those people out there who really appreciate what we do, because obviously, if you need to write something down, you can use any pen. This is a decorative way, and this has meaning. And there's usually, like Claire was saying with her Lord Ganesha, there's usually an emotional attachment, at least at first. And some of them we've got 42 different designs now. And so there's something that will probably resonate. And everybody out there, if you've got time, if you've got nothing else to do, on our website, and Joost will have these shortly too, there is a little 2 or 3 minute video for each collection design. And it will be my voice.
It's very well done. I really love those videos. So sad that are not on the Appelboom website yet, but they will be hopefully soon. But those videos, they really show you how the pens really are. On a website shopping, it's always complicated, with the photos, with text. But those videos, they really let the pen come to life. So it's really well done.
Well, not only, I mean,
Thanks,
you do the
Joost.
full
I think it's worth it.
package. You do the full package, from, the gorgeous pens to the cufflinks. Right now, I just have my cuffling box here, but the pen boxes, picture the pen box even bigger. I mean, they're beautiful. You could just leave them out. I mean, I leave them, I have 1 or 2 out, and I leave them up because they're beautiful art pieces. So even down to the packaging on these gorgeous pens. I did have we had a pen that we secured, and it had a little dent on it, and I took a little.
Where is it?
and I sent it to David. And no, it was the this one here.
Was it the was the
The
snake? Yeah, the blackwater snake.
snake.
Yes.
And I took, there was like a dent on the bottom. And yeah, I could live with the dent, but I just took a little video and I said, "Hey, David, we purchased this pen. We found it at an estate sale." I said, "It has a little ding on it. Can it be repaired?" He said, "Yeah." So I sent it to him in a text. 2 minutes later, he calls me on the phone and we talked about it and everything. And he said, "Yeah, send it to me, and it'll be a few months, but you know." And he said, "All good things come." He sent it back. It looks like brand new, but also because of the number on it, he knew the story behind the pen and who purchased it. It was just knowing the history of that, which is just amazing.
Mhm.
All it's, numbered, and hopefully people register their pens when they're, with, and for the warranty and everything too, because like they said, they're, yeah, send it in. It came back. It's perfect. I love it, and in the color, these are like, this one is beautiful. So
That teal is special. Well, we do want to take care of these pieces. These are heirlooms, and so yes, we will take care of all of that. That had to be replated with gold, et cetera, et cetera. But it took some time. But I think it's
yeah,
worth it. There are not many pens out there. You won't see from time to time we'll check to see what's available in a estate sale or eBay or something. There's not a lot. People tend to hang on to our pieces and pass them on to a family member before letting it go to an auction, usually. Now
Mhm.
there are exceptions, but usually there's not a lot out there. And normally when something like that comes up, I usually know who it is, because I'll remember, especially if it's a big set, I'll know who that is. So yeah, not a lot out there. So that was a good find, Claire.
No, there isn't. I mean, I'm not. There really isn't. Peter found it, and he's like, no, but yeah, and learning all about the pens. I grew up in a factory, family business, and my husband did too in his business. And I would love to just go into the factory and just watch. That to me, learn, like that extra step. Just I love taking factory tours because I like to.
Claire, I'm working on David, that he gives me permission to go to England to his workshops and film there. But I'm still working on that. I have to bring it slowly to David. Like every
Yes.
time I'm talking to him, I will mention it, and then maybe on one day he will say, "Yeah, sure, Joost, go ahead."
Help me too.
My advice would be to keep asking. Yes.
Keep asking. But no, I get it. I get the whole thing. I'm, because of the way I grew up, I love to see how things are made. And that to me, like doing like even when I went to Europe and be able to go into a factory, people like, "Why are you going into a factory?" He said, "You just don't understand where I grew up, and always being in the factory. There's just something
It's
about."
always fun to see how the factory videos are always fun. And I just keep asking David till he got so annoyed, and he's like, "Yeah, go, please."
Fine. Speaking of factories, all of the enameling is done, the pieces, the components, they arrive, the nibs, the feeders, the housings, the ink, but every piece that leaves, Claire, you know this, Joost, you may know this, every piece that leaves is put together and packaged and signed, etc., by yours truly. So
Mhm.
someday I'll need some help with that. But for now, last 25 years, every single one. And that's what makes it special. Put a little note in there or something. These are all our friends, and it becomes quite a happy relationship over the years. So we're
Now,
grateful
Important.
for all of that.
That's
your
important.
family
I saw
members.
that Blue Cho had a comment. One of my favorite parts of homeschooling is including the learning about craftsmanship and artistry, bringing beauty into useful things.
Oh,
And I think that's definitely what's happening here.
Mhm.
very nice.
Now, will your children, are they interested in going into the business with you?
I keep praying. Our youngest Annie is going to be a junior at KU, and she's working at our local jeweler here this summer. I'm holding out for a daughter
To
or
pass it
son-in-law
down.
or somebody because I think that would be really, really nice. So far, they've been hesitant, as many children are with their parents' vocations. I don't want to. I'm not doing that. I'm going to do something normal that's easier. And
Mhm.
but then something usually changes around age 25 or 28, where it doesn't look so bad anymore.
Oh,
When
yeah,
you get
Peter
working.
just,
So
plus, thank you very much for the chocolates. When we get sent stuff, we get chocolates as well.
that's another
And
25 years of chocolates going out the door. Yes.
and Joost's stroopwafels challenge. But uh, and the ink. I love that your ink. You have one color,
Yes,
but
we're not really an ink manufacturer, but we from time to time will make a 15th or 25th anniversary, and we give those away. If you see me at a show, I'll have ink, or we send some to
it's
we'll send some
beautiful.
to your store, Yoast, to hand out to people. It's a nice teal one that we've got right now that
Yeah, I
we're
love
really
it. I
yeah,
love the
really
color.
nice
It's
one.
beautiful. So yeah,
It's
we
wonderful.
use
It's
it.
wonderful. All right, guys, we're a little bit at the end of the show here. Claire, do you have one final last question for David, or was everything
I
covered?
think he answered a lot of everything. The other thing is he's got to come up with a question now for the next
Yes.
guest.
Well, I thought about that this morning. I thought I've got a two-part question. It depends on who the guest is. If the
Hmm.
guest is a manufacturer, I would like to know what their favorite design of their own is and why. And that's usually a
Okay.
personal, either a technological reason or an emotional reason. If it is a collector, I would like them to pick something of ours and tell me why that would be their favorite. And that's what I love to hear. Whether it's Consider the Lilies, or if it's Lewis and Clark, or if it is the Magna Carta. I love to know why. A lot of times the store owners will call us and say, hey, we need this for a client, blah blah blah. Sometimes I'll meet the client, like Claire and Peter, and I'll understand why Lord Ganesha was so special. Those are the connections that I
Hmm.
love to make. So if it's a collector, which one would be your number one choice, and then why? I'd love to know.
We're gonna ask that to the next question, no, to the next guest. It will be wonderful to hear that as well. Lenny has a comment here quickly. David told me it was a family. I thought sure. However, it really does feel like that. He's so accessible, helpful, and genuine, and I think that's a wonderful compliment, David.
Mhm.
Well, right back at you, Lenny. This is a wonderful community. We've got a lot of friends. Everybody's friendly, kind. We all get along, and we're very grateful. It's been a great 25 years so far.
Yeah, I just absolutely am in love with them. In fact, it's so funny when people say, "Do you write with your pens?" And I say, "Yes, I do." I was at the Philadelphia pen show, and someone said, "Can you bring an Oscarson so I can see it?" And I said, and I had it. I brought two. One was inked and one wasn't inked because I
Mhm.
was writing one already. And I'm like, "You're gonna let me write with it?" Oh,
It's
yes, that's
fine.
what they're used for. You're not going to hurt it. If you're someone that's into fountain pens, they know how to write with it. They're not going to
Yeah.
So I'm not worried. I wasn't worried. But yeah, I just love sharing them and showing them and writing with them. So thank you, David.
Thank you both, and everybody who's been on today, all our friends and all our new friends. We look forward to meeting at you. I'll be in DC, and I'll be in Dallas, and we'll be
David, I
around.
have to ask you. David, I have to ask you. Are you coming to the Dutch Pen Show next year?
Well, I would have to be
It's
invited,
far
Joost.
away,
I mean,
but
I think that would be terrific. I grew up in Stockholm, as you know, and I'd love to
Mhm.
get over to Europe whenever I can. Is that October? When is
Claire is
that?
coming.
I'm definitely
Claire is
coming this
coming.
time. No surgeries, no nothing. I'm going. It's June the 6th?
June 6th and 7th is the weekend.
June the 6th and 7th. I
I
will
will
put that
send
on
you
my
all the
calendar.
details. I
I
will
will
send
put
you
that
all
on
the
my calendar.
details.
Would love to
No
meet some
worry.
of your friends and your associates over there too, Joost. I know you've got a
Yes,
great
definitely.
operation going over there.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Suzette, say thank you so much. It was been a pleasure to get to know your pens, David. So that's from Suzette. I would like to thank you as well, David, to join us and to explain a little bit more
Pleasure.
about your pens and, well, tell your whole story. Claire, thank you so much for joining us as the co-host again. It was lovely, especially with your
Thank you.
knowledge about the David Oscarson pens. that was a perfect fit in this case as well. Everybody that was watching, thank you so much for joining us. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, please make sure to do that right now. After that, head over to the David Oscarson website and watch all their videos that they made about the pens, because it's very, very interesting, especially, you know, about the enameling and all the work that's done there in the workshops. It's so interesting to see that all. So please do that. And also head over to Clare, her YouTube channel, because Clare, you have 1,000 subscribers now, or almost?
I'm over 1,000. I'm over 1,000
You're
subscribers.
over 1,000. Wow.
Yeah,
Congrats.
Thank
Very
you.
well done.
It was a goal.
And you're giving away one of your David Oscarsons right now.
No, not the David Oscarson, but I'm actually giving away a Visconti, believe it or not. Yes.
There you go.
Still,
I'm gonna
wow.
I actually, since I had to get all dressed up today, I'll be filming the giveaways today. So it should be posted either today or tomorrow. And I'll talk to you.
Really cool.
So, you know, anybody, you know, interested, just a quick short little blurb as a thank you to all my subscribers. So I am doing
That's
a little.
wonderful.
Thank you.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's fun.
Can Peter join the giveaway as well, or is it is family excluded?
Family and some close friends are excluded, because I don't want to hear, oh, so and so won. They only won because, you know, Claire knows them. No,
Yeah.
I'll pull a name out of the hat or whatever.
All right. So sorry, David, you're not allowed to join, but still make sure to join the channel. All right. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching, and we will see you guys again next week.
Thank you, everybody.
Ciao. Bye.